Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Commander review video. We're still in the Legends set, very early in the Legends set, but we are talking about Dakkon Blackblade today. It is, I'm going to pull up my phone because it's got the actual text on here. It is a legendary human warrior that costs 2 generic mana, 1 white mana, 2 blue mana, and 1 black mana. You'll notice it has 2 stars for its power and toughness. That is because Dakkon Blackblade has power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. So very straightforward and very weird to see a deck that is worried about the number of lands you have in a deck that doesn't have green in it. So let's talk more about that. There are no rulings for this card. It's very straightforward. 6 mana for a creature that's going to cost some unknown amount of mana, depending on the number of lands you control when it comes into play. A card that combos really well with Dakkon Blackblade is another expensive card from Ice Age, if I remember that set symbol correctly. Herald of Lilmac. I think I actually used to own this card once when I was younger, and then I traded it away, or a cousin of mine had it. I don't remember, but I've remembered that card art since I first started playing this game. This is one of the very first cards I ever really knew when I started playing this game. Herald of Lilmac. And the reason why this card synergizes with Dakkon Blackblade is it has a cumulative upkeep. Cumulative upkeep is the turn after it comes into play. During your upkeep, you're going to put a age counter on Herald of Lilmac, and then you pay its cost, which is stated here as gain control of a land you don't control, or sacrifice Herald of Lilmac. The thing about cumulative upkeep is you have to gain control of a land you don't control for every age counter on it. So the first upkeep, gain control of 1 land from that you don't control. Second upkeep, you gain control of 2 lands you don't control. Third upkeep, 3 lands you don't control. 4, 5, 6, until you control all the lands in play and you can't steal any more lands. At that point, then you sacrifice Herald of Lilmac. And if you note at the bottom of the card, it says when Herald of Lilmac leaves play, each player gains control of each land he or she owns that you control. So once you've stolen all the lands and you can't take any more, you will eventually give those lands back. So bear that in mind. It is a temporary power boost, but it does mean that every turn you are growing Dakkon's power and toughness every turn with Herald of Lilmac in play, which is really cool. Definitely a card you want to save for to mid to late game, so you can steal a ton of lands and really hit for a really big amount of damage from Dakkon. The deck that I have for Dakkon Blackblade is kind of an interesting choice. There are surprisingly multiple characters in these colors that have star power and toughness, and they fluctuate either based on the number of lands you have or based on the creature that is copied by the card, so on and so forth. And so, oddly enough, I'm putting it in a vehicle deck because having the unknown of its power toughness means it can equip at different stages of the game. So with Dakkon, or not equip, crew at different stages of the game. So if Dakkon came into play and for some reason you only had 2 lands and you just had mana rocks that brought Dakkon into play, Dakkon would be a 2/2, but that's just strong enough that it can crew the Prodigy's prototype in the center of this image here, and then you get the benefits from Prodigy's prototype. Then when you get that 3rd land into play, it could then cruise the Mobilizer Mech, which has its own unique abilities. And then when you get that 4th land into play, you can then start crewing the Parhelion 2, and from there, you can just start doing crazy stuff. However, most decks, I imagine, are going to have all 6 lands by the time they're playing Dakkon into play, so he'll already be a 6/6. So this is not the strongest deck to put Dakkon in. However, you could put Dakkon in a lands matters deck in these colors. Even though you don't have access to green, that doesn't mean you can't ramp, and it doesn't mean there aren't plenty of land matters cards in these colors. Scampering Surveyor and Dreamscape Artist are cool ways of getting land cards out of your library and into play to make Dakkon stronger. And all 3 colors, and artifacts included, have Landfall cards. Landfall is an ability that triggers whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. So the one I picked was Felidar Retreat. You can make a large board of cats to block or attack with, or you can just beef your whole team with +1/+1 counters. So a lands matter or a landfall deck is totally doable in these colors. We have plenty of support for land tribal in the game, regardless of not having green. And, of course, Dakkon is a human warrior, so you could do a warrior tribe with a human sub-theme, or a human tribe with a warrior sub-theme. Blood Chin Rager, Chief of the Edge are both cards that support warriors specifically. And then Ultramarines Honor Guard, as well as many of the other Astartes warriors from the Warhammer 40k Universes Beyond set, are great in a deck like this. They're all warriors. They're all about beefing your whole team. And Ultramarines I thought was really cool because with the squad ability, you could make multiple Ultramarines and then beef your whole team a whole bunch. I mean, having just 2 of the Ultramarines in play is an additional +2/+2 to your entire board, which is really cool. And that's going to do it for Dakkon Blackblade. Fun card. You can do a ton of damage even in these colors around a card that cares about the lands that you control. You can do a ton of damage, which is really fun. But, as I said earlier, you don't have green, so it's difficult to ramp. Difficult to ramp in the sense that you don't have all the land ramp staples that you would see in green that are like 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. So you may be paying a little bit more mana to get those lands into play. However, you do have plenty of support. It is doable. Just expect it to be slower than like the mono green or any deck that has green in it, honestly. It will be slower, so be careful of that. All in all, though, really fun card. I know a lot of people like Dakkon Blackblade because it kind of breaks the color pie. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts below about this commander and about the deck ideas that I talked about. If you want to see more of these videos, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when more videos come out. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!